One, two, three, and. Do it for me.
Representando la cultura, vamos hasta la muerte como los kamikaze, Master Roski, Prince Ken Swift en Boriqua, Posse, boom. Mi gente, una vez más, nosotros aquí haciendo lo que hacemos, manteniéndolo real. Estoy aquí con un gran hermano y pionero de la cultura, Prince Ken Swift. Yo, what you got to tell him, Holmes?
You know what, man? First of all, peace, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the introduction. It's very nice of you. Yeah, man. Peace, everybody out there. I'm so excited to be back in Puerto Rico. I was here 20 years ago, maybe 21 years ago, for an event. Came out here when I was definitely around my prime, 98, 99, and got busy with some really good dancers out here. Peace to my man Stilo, Po One, all the fellas, all the crews out here that were there for that event. I don't remember names too much, but peace, love, and respect to all the writers, the DJs, the MCs, and the B-boys out here. Yo, what up, bro? Peace. Peace to everybody out there holding down hip-hop in Puerto Rico.
A little bit of history, Kenny. Starting, what motivated you, your best records that set you off. What can you tell me about that?
Well, you know, the interesting thing is that I became a part of, you know, what we would call hip-hop. You know, when I was 12 years old, I started writing, doing wall writing, because my brother was a writer. And you know, we happened to move from one block, city block, to one other block, 96th to 97th Street. And with the building we moved into on the third floor was a guy named Jeff, you know what I'm saying, AKA Doze, you know what I'm saying, the one and only. And he was writing with my brother. And I was younger, a couple years younger. My brother was apprehensive because he didn't want my mom to find out. But I started writing, and he couldn't stop me. And I was actually into writing prior. Through Doze, I met a guy named T and some more people from the Bronx. Because I'm from Harlem, I'm not from the Bronx, I'm from Uptown.
We are.
And they brought these cassette tapes, man, and immediately just related to, because before all this hanging out in the street stuff, you know, when I was maybe 9 or 10, I found a lot of my mom's records. And they had, you know, the old school, in my grandmother's house, the console. And I found a lot of interesting music, and James Brown was part of that collection. And I immediately loved the drums, you know, the drums and the horn sections, and I've always been banging it, you know. And from that point, I got into like just percussion and shit, but on a freestyle. Long story short, we figured out the whole situation about what we were hearing on the tapes. Man, we bought that direct drive jump off. I think it was a D1 or the B1 first. One came before the other. I always forget the letters on it. One was direct drive, one was belt drive. Gemini up and down mixer, and then a Kenwood turntable, his father's turn, and then just try to find records, you know. And then that, you know, you get a mixer, you get a mic, you know. So we started rhyming and trying to imitate the cassettes, you know. Definitely Furious 5, you know what I'm saying, Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5, you know, among other groups that were out at the time doing their thing. And then finally, the last thing I kind of really saw was breaking. And when I saw it, I did it.
You know, did you enjoy 100th Street?
Yeah, that's my spot. You know, so I got into breaking more than any of the other ones because there was an interesting connection to the music. You know, I love to cut, and I was DJing for a minute with Young City Boys crew. I started a crew called the Young City Boys on 97th Street, 98th in Amsterdam. It was a community, you know, just around our block, you know, little kind of just a crew, you know, like a hangout crew of friends going to school together and sleeping over each other's house and having fun DJing, and you know, but the breaking became the one that I was more into. So to answer the question about the music, I would say one of the greatest records of all time is Apache. You know what I'm saying? Like to this day, it could come on, and if there's a certain moment where it comes on, it brings me right back to being a young cat, because that song sounds like it's just designed for breaking. You know what I mean? To me, I mean, peace to Incredible Bongo Band and the bands that have done that song, and prior to that. outside of that, there's so many so much good music, man, from that time period. I'm a classic styles dude, man. I love the funk, love the disco, the rock, whatever has that beat that gives you that feeling. So, it's hard to name one song. When I would say James Brown is the godfather of soul, you know what I'm saying? To me, there's so much music James Brown did in the Flames and the JBs. It's just like, I think that's one of the biggest lessons you could do if you come into this culture, is really study that man and study not only the music and the band and the instruments, the message. You know what I'm saying? James Brown was, he was uplifting people. And when we look at the music from the 70s, primarily 60s and 70s, after coming out of the 60s, man, people were needing something to feel good about, And I didn't listen to a lot of those lyrics when I was a kid, man. I got older, I started listening to what he was saying. I was like, oh, snap. Because I come from break culture, like we want the best part of the record. don't put the beginning on and all that singing.
Let they get down.
Yeah, but you know what? I encourage people, I encourage young students to pay attention to the message of the song. Yes, B-boys and B-girls, we break on the break. You know, we're going to want to get those best sections to bring out the best in us. But the key to it is understanding that moment, to understand what this has been through to get to where it is now. A lot of people went through a lot of things, and this culture we have grew out of rocks and concrete and just sprouted worldwide, so it's a beautiful thing.
Got a question for you.
Yeah.
The time when you got these transitions or the evolution of breaking, remember the times way back when it started that it's kind of different, the style where it was like maybe one breaker, one move, and then you couldn't scuff your sneakers, you couldn't lay on the floor. It was all one clean sweep, and now you see various pauses, various moves.
Yeah.
How do you see this? How do you feel about this transition?
Well, I've always felt like I contributed to all that mentality. As a young kid, I had that one move, and I would do these. There would be challenges of skills, you know. But throughout the whole time period that I was out there getting in the circles, you know, I always wanted to stack. I always wanted to come back with something different. I always wanted to make it different, change the rhythm of it. I always wanted to be experimental and shock my friends and shock crowds when I went in. And I love the attention about it. I love the energy exchanged about it. So I think it's a proper evolution. I mean, if there was no challenge or switch in skills and change, it wouldn't be here right now.
Exactly.
You know, the battle is the whole reason why it allowed people to go back to the drawing board and
the variety.
revisit what, you know. Well, if you go to circle and someone takes you out, man, that don't feel good. So you're gonna go back and you're gonna try to practice to, you know what I mean? It happened to me many times. So it's like you just get inspired by that to go back and and challenge yourself. You know, the biggest battle is within yourself. It's not that anybody standing in front of you, man. It's the ability to,
your own obstacle.
Yeah, it's the ability to go in there under high pressure and be aggressive and relaxed at the same time, almost like a Buddha. You know what I'm saying? Not even being emotional and just destroying everybody with skills, straight skills. You know, that's the master right there, and that's something. I mean, I don't see myself nowhere near a master, but that's what I envision in a master. Someone that doesn't allow emotion and aggression to affect the way they are under a high pressure situation. I've been under pressure so many times and failed. Been in the circle and just like left the circle saying, why didn't I do that move? Why didn't I messed up? And then I've been in a circle where I lost my mind and went in a space that can't explain. You know, and you know, even in circles where I felt like everybody was better than me, if I went in that circle and I did everything that I've been working on in practice the way the best I could and better, that was a victory. It wasn't about, you know, if you do your best, you got to salute yourself for that.
Sure indeed.
You know?
ask you now, your time spent within the organization that I still represent, what's the most beautiful things you can remember from Zulu and its essence?
Yeah, well, just to be clear about it, man, I see myself as an affiliate, I have friends that I grew up with that are, that introduced me to Zulu Nation and, and being a part of, Rocksteady Chapter 3 Zulu Kings, I mean, it was a very important time in my life as a teen to be involved with a creative, beautiful creative movement at the same time, a conscious movement. And as we spoke earlier, my ears were not open all the time because I was a wild child, going to those meetings a lot of times I was listening, but I really wasn't listening. I was really interested in writing and doing the Zulu thing that, was all about hip hop. But those memories stand out a lot for me, man, to where we had a safe place to go to, Bronx River with all those anniversaries. I went to a few, I didn't go to that many. You know what I mean? We got busy early, so we couldn't, we missed a lot of things, but I have memories of Kips Bay Boys Club, going up to some of those parties and just feeling real, real comfortable around people that do the same things you do and got the same passion and admiration for getting down. Not only that, traveling, being able to travel, in the 80s, the New York City rap tour, the first international full hip hop tour, that changed my life. Being on an airplane, 14, 15 years old, you're like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you running wild in another country, being yourself,
Manifesting.
Yeah, but at the same time, sharing with the world, hip hop, what I'm saying? We were bringing, breaking and the elements of hip hop to people that they were shocked, but at the same time intrigued. And those, all those memories, to reflect on it 41 years later, this is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of hip hop culture, being able to go to events, be invited, to be able to be, have a voice, be able to even share information with media and with people in the community. That's the beauty of all those youthful experiences I had as a kid. Thank goodness to survive all that. There was a lot of trauma behind all that. A lot of people don't know, and we don't talk about it much because, we want to keep a positive mind state, but we survived, a lot of us survived those times, man, and we lost a lot of people in that. We lost a lot of people in that struggle. We were exploited in that struggle. We were, degraded and downplayed and tried to make it look like we don't know what we're doing, but we stood the test of time. And the message is always pure, it's about the freedom of creativity and self-expression and just having fun, and going out there in the world and sharing with people what you know how to do and show them how you do it.
True. Shout outs for who, Holmes? You tell me.
There's too many people, man.
I know, they gotta...
Well, I'm gonna keep it 100 for my block and just say, definitely, the first B-boys, Frosty Freeze, rest in peace, to me, one of my biggest inspiration, Ty Fly, Nelson, Little Nelski, Kid Terrific, #1 Short Shop Boys, Marky D, rest in peace. You got Wayne Blizz from the Executioners, Doug, rest in peace. Shanghai Brothers, Kid Sorcerer, Kid Galaxy, Magnetic, Ron Darris. There's so many heads. Then you got Grego from the Executioners. These are people that I, at a young age, was able to see and be inspired to become who I would be. You know what I'm saying? Because of that, because of those moments. All the writers, Doze, my brother Too Near. And all the sisters that was out there holding us down, you know what I'm saying? They could tell the stories sometimes better than we can. It's a piece to the sisters out there that was coming up in that same struggle and having fun with all the elements. They definitely have their contributions and just peace to Uptown, you know what I'm saying? Peace to Puerto Rico, peace to everybody out here. The connection is real, you know what I'm saying? Today's my mother's birthday, you know what I'm saying? And may she rest in peace. And so it's significant. So I'm shouting out people out here in the world, just keep it 100 with yourself, man. Be true to yourself, be true to your community, and do the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Keep your eyes and ears open to what's happening around us, because we need each other, man, to get through all this. Peace.
We're still around. We don't quit.
Yeah.
This is foundation. This is one love, one goal, one culture, where we are immortal. Peace,
That's
my
true.
brother.
Thank you for that, man. It's very nice of you, man. Peace, everybody. What's up? Ken Swift over here, 7 Gems over here in Puerto Rico. Want to give a big shout out to Boriqua Posse, you know what I'm saying, and Baby Entertainment. Keeping it 150 all the time. Genuine, authentic,
Okay,
platinum.
direct from Puerto Rico. Right now we want to welcome a couple of my. Okay. Yo, fellas. You gotta be a little cool now. Hands up. Yo, fellas. Direct from Puerto Rico. How about a very, very big round of applause? Yo, fellas. Boriqua Posse. Yeah. Direct from Puerto Rico. Yeah. Yo, fellas, Boriqua Posse. Yeah. Yo, fellas, Boriqua Posse. Yeah.